year is 2002, when meeting people on the internet was a big thing, especially in AOL chat rooms. However, is that person behind the screen a 13-year-old boy or a 33-year-old man? Let's find out right now. Wednesday, my Cajun cuties. Yes, it's me, Anne-Marie, aka the Cajun Crime Queen from Carencro, Louisiana. Cajun born, Cajun bred, and when I die, I'll be Cajun dead. I hope after this video that you like, subscribe, and comment, and don't forget to press on that notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne-Marie. I hope you have a beverage. I hope you have a snuggle partner or a snuggle fur partner. Those are the best, and you are ready to hear a true crime story with yours truly. And as always, I want to know, are y'all drinking that water? Are y'all staying hydrated? Are y'all getting those tickers up? Remember, just a quick 20-30 minute walk, especially first thing in the morning, get those endorphins up, and you're going to have an amazing, wonderful day, I promise you. And as always, I want to thank all of you for joining me on this Wicked Wednesday evening while we discuss another true crime story. Lately, I have been seeing a lot of these two things on the internet, on the news, on social media, and I'm sick of seeing these cases. And that is pedos and that is bullying. Children are losing their life every day due to these two matters. And I'm going to discuss two cases this week that really hit home for me, especially the one I'm going to discuss with you today. Because as you all know, I have a 13-year-old daughter that I have to monitor very closely due to the horrible things that are happening on social media today. I have to watch every single thing that she does. And as a parent, I want all of y'all to look into the story and listen very carefully of how these people are luring these children away from their home and how these pedos are retrieving these children's address, going to their home and taking them away from their own home. You never know who's behind the screen. You never know who you're really discussing. And today we're going to be discussing the case of 13-year-old Kacie Renee Woody. Kacie Woody was born on October 17th, 1989 in Holland, Arkansas. She was extremely close to her father, Rick, who was a police officer, and her mother, Christy, who was a homemaker. Kacie had two older brothers, Austin and Tim. Kacie was very close to her mother. She was close to her, she loved her mother, and she loved being with her mother. But sadly, on June 19th, 1997, Kacie's mother, Christy, passed away in a car accident when the family was on their way home from a baseball game. A horse collided with the vehicle and struck the family's car. How devastating, how sad. Kacie was only 7 years old at the time, and this tragedy really hit home for her. She was extremely upset. She missed her mother every day, and she was a little girl. All little girls need their mother. Kacie was now 12 years old, living on a very isolated, long dirt road. She didn't live by any of her friends. All she had living at her home was her father, Rick, who worked very often, her brother, Tim, and his friend, Eric. Kacie was left home alone a lot due to her father working and her brother and his friend being busy in school. Kacie loved connecting with people, and she was going to find a new way to talk to all of her friends. The year is 2001, and we don't have Snapchat or Facebook or the internet or my favorite app, TikTok. All we have is AOL Messenger. And back in 2001, when I was 17, that was a huge thing. We would have all these windows up, talking to several people. It was exciting. It was fun because you meet new people. Kacie's dad, Rick, decided that he was going to allow Kacie to have a username, which she used, Model Behavior 36. Rick said there couldn't be any harm. She's sitting at home talking to her friends, no big deal. She's safe. She's not leaving the house. At first, Kacie was just talking with all of her friends from school. It was fun. It was exciting. They would talk for hours. Then the night was December 31st, 2001, when Kacie and her friend Samantha discovered internet AOL chat rooms, and they wanted to connect with several different people from all over the world. They decided they were going to join a Christian chat room as they felt it was more safe for them. They entered the chat room, they started talking to different people, meeting new people, just waiting for the ball to drop, celebrating the night, having fun. When all of a sudden, a boy by the name of Dave joins the chat. He says he's from California. His name is David Fagan, and he's 17 years old. When they see Dave's picture, he has this long blonde hair, the typical California surfer type. They even ask him, do you surf? He says yes. They are excited, they are having fun, and they feel there is no harm into doing this. They talk so much with Dave all night long, getting to know him, that they even missed the ball drop. And that's how excited they were to meet and connect with new people. But all of a sudden, Kacie and Dave are in constant daily contact. They talk for hours. They talk about their feelings. They talk about what they did that day, if they had a good day, if they had a bad day. Kacie loved coming home and getting on AOL Messenger with 17-year-old David Fagan. Kacie wanted all her friends to like Dave. She even told her friends, hey, why don't y'all add Dave to y'all AOL Messenger and y'all start to get to know him. He's a really cool guy. He's sweet. He's loving. He's going to talk to y'all about your problems. Y'all add him and y'all be his friend. Kacie's friend said, yeah, sure, we'll add him. They all started talking to Dave. He was a great guy. Everyone loved him. Everyone wanted to be his friend. Kacie's father, Rick, saw no harm in Kacie speaking with him because she was at home. She was in the house. Nothing could go wrong, right? Back then, y'all, I remember if you asked someone for a picture, it would take hours to download. And it would download like you get like a centimeter and then hours. So nobody was really sending all these inappropriate pictures or any type of pictures because it took too long. That just didn't happen. So there was really no harm in just speaking to someone. No one heard about anything that was happening bad in the world due to AOL Messenger. People were just having fun meeting new people. Then one night, Kacie and her friend Jessica are having a sleepover. They're having fun. They're doing makeovers, putting beauty masks on each other. When all of a sudden, they hear a noise. They hear a creak in the kitchen, like someone was walking in the kitchen. They were both terrified because Rick, Kacie's dad, was at work as he was a police officer. He wasn't home that night and the girls were left alone. They both listened and they ran to Kacie's room, closed the door, locked it, put a dresser in front of it and waited. The nearest neighbor is blocks away. No one would hear them if they screamed. No one would hear them if they needed help. They were terrified. They waited for a couple of hours in that room and nothing happened. They finally got the courage to open the door. They said, we have to open the door. We have to know if somebody's in the house. We don't know what's going on. When they open the door, they walk around, the lights are on, and nobody's in the house. Looks like nobody's there. But they are certain that night someone was in that house. Dave and Kacie keep talking, and Kacie opens up to Dave about the death of her mother, Christy, and he is there for her. He tells Kacie, I understand your pain because I happen to have an aunt in Arkansas who is in a coma due to a car accident, and he was even thinking about going visit her. So now Kacie is comforting Dave due to his aunt being in a terrible car accident, and she is now in a coma. 13-year-old Kacie Woody and 17-year-old David Fagan decide they're going to exchange phone numbers, and they begin talking daily. Dave would call Kacie. Then 7 months after they started talking, Kacie tells her dad, hey dad, you know, Dave is 18 today. Today he turns 18. It's his birthday. And her dad's like, wait, what? Oh, no, ma'am, you are not talking to an 18-year-old adult man. There is no way that's going to happen. I want you to have absolutely zero contact with him from now on. But as we all know, we were all teens, and all teens, most teens, disobey their parents and they go behind their parents' back. And that is exactly what Kacie Woody did. Even though her dad, Rick, told her not to talk to Dave, she was still having daily conversations with Dave, and they were getting to know each other more and more and more. Then all of a sudden, Kacie starts chatting with a 14-year-old boy named Scott from Georgia. They have a lot in common. They connect. They're talking every day. And Kacie loves talking to both Dave and Scott. Dave says that he likes Kacie. He wants to remain friends with Kacie and even knows that she's in a relationship with Scott, but he wants all of them to remain friends. Kacie starts giving all of her attention to Scott. Then all of a sudden, Dave says, you know, my aunt's getting sicker and sicker in Arkansas. I'm really worried about her. I'm going to have to go visit her. I'm going to have to go see if she's okay. I'm extremely worried something bad is going to happen. So Kacie starts communicating more with Dave because she wants to comfort Dave. He was always there for her, and she wanted to be there for him as well. They're talking daily. She's saying everything's going to be okay. I'm here for you if you need. And he says he's thinking about coming to Arkansas. However, Kacie tells all of her friends that she has no intention of meeting up with Dave, no intention of seeing him. Even if he comes to Arkansas, she does not want to see Dave. She just wants to remain internet online friends. And the day is December 3rd, 2002, when friends see a picture of a boy in Kacie's locker. And the friend says, oh, he's a hottie. Who is that? And she says, that's Scott. And they say, wait, how do you have a picture of Scott in your locker? She says, he mailed it to me. And of course, all of her friends were completely scared and shocked when they found out that 13-year-old Kacie Woody gave her address to a person that she had never met in person. Kacie Woody's friends told her, Kacie, you shouldn't be giving your address to someone that you don't even know. You should never do that. And I'm here to tell y'all, as a mother, as a parent, talk to your children about this. Tell them never to give their phone number to strangers. Tell them never to send pictures to strangers. All of these people go on Snapchat and you have a quick ad by someone. This person you never met wants to be your friend. Then all of a sudden, they find out your phone number and they can know everything about you in a second. Every and anything they want to know about you. If they have your phone number or they have your address, they can find out what they need about you, and they especially can find out your address, which is very scary, especially when children are involved. So always tell your children, don't ever give their phone numbers or addresses out to people they do not know, because anything can be found out with anything. Just like in the 80s when movie star Rebecca Schaefer, her stalker, hired a PI to find out her address, and he did. And he went to her house and murdered her on her front steps. So people can find out any and everything they want about you, just seconds, minutes, anything. Later on that night, Kacie calls her father to tell her father that she's home. It is December 3rd, 2002. She tells her father she's home. Then all of a sudden, later on that night, her brother Tim arrives at home and sees that Kacie is not at home. She's not in her bed. He calls his father, Rick, and said, hey, where's Kacie? He said, what do you mean, where's Kacie? She's at home. And he says, no, Dad, she's not here. Rick rushes home. He finds Kacie's glasses all bent, her reading glasses. One of her lenses is out. Her jacket's there. Her shoes are there. They know Kacie did not run away from home. It is December in Arkansas. It's very cold. She wouldn't have left the house without a jacket. It just wouldn't happen. They called the police, the FBI, the media. Everyone was searching for 13-year-old Kacie Woody. And remember, the first couple of hours of a missing persons case is very crucial, especially when a child is involved, because they want to branch out right away and find the child as soon as possible, so that person does not leave the state, leave the country with a missing child. Everyone is worried about Kacie. Everyone is looking for 13-year-old Kacie Woody. Her friends, her family, everyone wants to know where she is. They want to know what happened and who could have came into the home and taken 13-year-old Kacie Renee Woody. Kacie Woody's two best friends, Samantha and Jessica, tell cops about 14-year-old Scott. They say he's Kacie's online boyfriend. She had just given her address to him, and he lives in Georgia. FBI makes a trip to Georgia, and when they go to the home of 14-year-old Scott, they find a typical 14-year-old teenage boy. They speak to him. He says, hey, he said, I was talking to Kacie online that night, and he says she just stopped communicating at 9:41. All communication stopped. He sent several messages to Kacie trying to figure out like what happened, what's going on, but nothing. He could not get a hold of Kacie. And they also find out that he was home that night. He's in the 8th grade. They know that he wasn't in Arkansas the night before, so they rule Scott out. Then all of a sudden, Kacie's two friends, Samantha and Jessica, are like, ding, ding, ding. What about Dave? Dave from California, because he had mentioned that he was coming to Arkansas to visit his dying aunt. The girls tell the cops about David Fagan. The cops want to find out where this David Fagan is. So they start looking at different hotels and motels, trying to see if they could come up with any type of lead. When they spot a car in a motel parking lot with a California license plate, they walk into the hotel and they speak to the hotel manager. And she says, we don't have a David Fagan registered here, I'm sorry. However, we do have a David Fuller registered here at the hotel. The cops say, can we talk to him? Can we see him? The cops go to the room, bust open the door, nothing at all. Nothing is found. All the cops find was camouflage clothing and latex gloves, which made them extremely worried. Why would he have all of this stuff? What was going on? The hotel manager also said that Dave had requested no maid service and had checked in there for an entire week, which they found extremely odd. They want to know exactly where David Fuller is. They want to know who he is, if he has Kacie, if he knows Kacie. Then they find out that Dave's number that's registered at the hotel is the same number that has been calling Kacie Woody's home phone at her home down the road in Arkansas. The cops now know that David Fagan and David Fuller is the same person. The cops now say, we want to see his credit card use and we want to know exactly what Dave has been up to, where he's been staying, and where he has been going. They look into all his credit cards and find a very important clue. Cops get a very important hit on Dave's credit card. They see that he is running a storage unit down the road. They want to go to the storage unit and find out if he's there and if he has Kacie Woody in his possession. The cops rush over there. They arrive. They see all of the units and one door is closed. However, it isn't locked, indicating somebody may be in that unit. They rush into it, they open the door, and that is when they see a minivan and hear one gunshot. The cops ask the suspect to step out. They try to negotiate with the suspect, but nothing. For almost 3 hours, the cop tried to speak to the suspect and tried to get the suspect to walk out of the storage unit, but nothing. The cops storm in, and that is when they find 13-year-old Kacie Renee Woody deceased in the back of the minivan, and they find David Fuller deceased with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He had taken his own life. The medical examiner said that that gunshot that the cops heard was Dave taking his own life. The medical examiner also said that Kacie Woody had been dead for several hours. The cops believe that David Fuller went to Kacie's home, maybe chloroformed her, making her pass out, took her to this unit, SA'd her, then murdered her, then took his own life when he was caught. Kacie's father, her family, her friends are all devastated over the loss of 13-year-old Kacie Woody. Everyone is absolutely heartbroken. The cops want to know, who is David Fuller? Well, he's a 47-year-old former used car salesman from San Diego, California. He has a wife and two children and has a history of preying on children on the internet. This man was a predator. This man was a monster. The cops also found out that David Fuller came to Arkansas earlier and even looked into the storage unit. So do y'all remember when I told y'all that a couple of months before, Kacie and her friend Jessica were having a sleepover and they heard a noise and they figured someone was in that house? Cops believe that was David Fuller in Kacie's home, that he had broken into the home, but maybe he left because he knew Kacie wasn't by herself. Maybe he figured, oh no, she's not home alone. I'm not gonna, take her. I'm not gonna abduct her right now because someone else is with her. Everyone mourns the loss of 13-year-old Kacie Renee Woody. My final thought, I always give y'all my final thought. And my final thought is, I want all of you to educate your child on the dangers of the internet, the dangers of social media, because so many times kids give their address, their phone numbers, where they live to predators. And we want that to stop. We want all of these predators to leave our children alone. These people, these monsters can take the most important thing to us, our child, away from us in seconds. And it doesn't need to happen anymore. I want all of you to teach your child to never give their phone number out, their address out. Never tell anyone where they live. And if they are speaking to a person that says they're 13, 14 years old, whatever age they are, and they say they can't FaceTime, they can't talk on the phone, they can't send a picture, they're lying. They're lying because they are not the person that they say they are. And that is dangerous. I cannot stress enough that no one in this world can't talk on the phone. If they texting, they can talk on the phone. And if they say they can't send a picture, they can. Everyone has social media these days, and the people that don't can still find a way to send a picture to that person. We need to educate our children of the dangers of what can happen when a person is sitting behind the screen. You never know who that person truly is because you are not face to face with that person. That person can say they are this age. That person can say they are that age. That person can make all these stories up, get close to your friends, get close to your family. Then all of a sudden, just like Kacie Woody, it's not a 17-year-old boy. It's a 47-year-old man that is preying on children. And we have to make all of this come to an end right away. I educate my children daily in the dangers of the internet. Social media can be a good thing. I'm here talking to y'all now, and I have social media. But it also could be very dangerous as people are getting access to children every single day by the click of a button. Kacie Woody's family started the Kacie Woody Foundation to bring awareness through the internet about the risks to children. I want all of y'all to remember 13-year-old Kacie Renee Woody. And remember, my thoughts and my prayers are with all of you. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. I hope that y'all like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to press on the notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne-Marie. And as always, stay safe. Always be aware of your surroundings, and always know that I'm here for each and every one of y'all. And I want to thank all of you for the love and support. And for you, I am truly grateful. I love all of y'all, and I will see y'all tomorrow night with another video. Bye.